Greetings, Fire Chargers, Darkblade here. Yes, I have changed it back. And in this video, I'm just going to be reading this consonant chart and some vowel chart on the Devanagari wiki page. So this is occlusive is sparsa. I'm assuming that occlusive means something like being an obstruent. Oh wait. No wait, because these are also obstruents. Oh, so this is just plosives and also affricates. These are the nasals, your approximants, and your, what's it called? Fricatives. So they're divided into two categories, agosa and sagosa. When you see a GH in the romanization of any script or writing system that is descended from the Brahmi script, most of the time, it'll be an aspirated G sound, like G, but with a puff of air, whatever that means, if you find that helpful. That's the voiceless, and sagosa means voiced. Anyway, there's also a distinction between aspirated, which is alpaprana, and mahaprana. Mahaprana. Anyway, all four options are available in Hindi because the Devanagari chart is giving the Hindi phonetic value for the consonants. So this thing is pronounced ka or ka, but with no aspiration. It's still voiceless. And then next one down is this, which is pronounced cha. And next up is da. Da. This one that looks like it's a T sound, but retroflex, which according to a book according to the Lonely Planet Nepali phrase book, the copyright says this was the 5th edition, July 2008, published by Lonely Planet Publications. And oh wait, there is a date on it. And the authors were Mary Jo Rourke and Bimalman Shrestha. And those are the authors, and there's also another person called Krishna Pradhan who also contributed to it. So, according to page 14 of this Lonely Planet Nepali phrase book, the retroflex is made by curling your tongue back up and back towards the roof of your mouth. Next is a normal t sound, a normal t, a dent. Then there's the p sound, but with no aspiration. That checks out. And next, the voiceless unaspirated. So we have ka, cha, ta, and ta, normal ta, and pa. Next are the voiced unaspirated. We have ga, ja, da, and ba. Next are voiced aspirated. We have ga, ja. Interesting that you see a little stroke here connecting this straight line to this curvy wave squiggle. In the Lonely Planet Nepali phrase book, the typeface that this JH letter is being typed doesn't have that. It also has a little tag back here behind this loop, this shaped loop of the cha, the ch. But here on the wiki page, you don't see that. Next is da, and then there's the normal dental da, and finally ba. This bh is seen probably in the Indian Hindi word for India, because I know that begins with a bh when romanized. Now time for some easier stuff that doesn't involve voiced aspiration. There's the velar nasal nga, which makes this shape kind of similar to da, but with a dot over there. Then there's nya, which kind of looks like it has a claw. Then there's na, which, na, trying to get the retroflexion right, which looks similar to pa, except these two are separate. This curvy, this rounded rectangle section is distinct from the back line. And then there's the normal na. The reason I'm trying to make it the dentals truly dental as I'm saying them instead of alveolar. Next is ma. And finally there's ya, ra, la, and wa. And wa, apparently here in Hindi, it's what is it called? A voiced labiodental approximant. Wait. Which is apparently a W or V-like sound.
Wa, awa.
Sounds somewhat W or V-like, according to page 12 of the Lonely Planet Nepali phrasebook. In Nepali, this is just a straight W. It doesn't use IPA, it just uses IST, and then gives us a hint for English speakers how to make these sounds. Next is sha, which exists, and then there's a different type of sha, which is the retroflex sha. Sha, sha, sha. I'm trying to get it right.
Sha, a sha.
Sha, a sha. Sha, a sha. Oh, it's just supposed to, oh, it just says towards the roof of my mouth. I guess I went too far. When I did the retroflexes, I make it outright curve back against and touching the roof of my mouth. Sure. Another example of a language with two different sh sounds is Mandarin Chinese. There's this retroflex sh, sh sound that you see with sh in the pinyin example, sure, and then there is a different sh sound which is alveopalatal, and it is which you will see with an x in pinyin, xi. They make different tongue positions and there is no final that can occur after one that can also occur after the other initial. So apparently Hindi has both of these. And there's also a normal S, sa, and finally the H sound, ha. But this is a voice glottal fricative. So I don't know if the normal English H is voiced or voiceless. Anyway, the Nepali phrase book seems to. I am checking. It appears that in Nepali, these two are pronounced the same way per page 15 of that book I've been mentioning. Next are some vowel sounds, which Hindi, of course, has, and so do other Indo-Aryan languages, and so does the Devanagari writing system. So it appears like they're using pa as like a paradigm letter to demonstrate the vocalic forms. There's... Wait, why do these have consonantal... What's it called? Type places of articulation. So there's E, U, R, and L are also here. So, yes, and yeah, apparently in Hindi there's a length distinction, but I should stop talking. But the Nepali phrase book from Lonely Planet on page 16 explicitly says that the two forms of E and the two forms of U are pronounced the exact same way. So it appears that this length distinction is not universal, but it is something that Hindi has. And apparently these two being a length distinction other and not also a quality distinction. According to page 11, this is pronounced like the sound in cup, and this is pronounced like the sound in father. Now, since this is the inherent vowel in the Devanagari writing system, it is not marked when it comes to with consonants. But when you have it long, you see one stroke after the consonant. Now, E depends on, you have one stroke connected, and the top is connected with a loop above the baseline back to the main consonant. Whether this stroke is before or after the consonant depends on its length. U is notated with this swirl thing, whether it is this way or upside down is a length distinction. In fact, the U vowel is also marked with a similar looking swirl in the Tibetan script, the Tibetan alphabet. Now, this appears to be a syllabic R, where the sound is its entire, what's it called, syllable. Let me check that. Yep, syllabic consonant. And there is also a length distinction. Because, of course, there is. And so far as I've seen in the phrasebook, this longer R hasn't appeared, even though the page 15 claims to have the complete alphabet. Then again, maybe Hindi has some letters that other languages using Devanagari don't. And this L is here a syllabic L sound, which which isn't listed in the book. Then again, I've only gotten to like page 18 or so. Into the early grammar section. But by then I am long after I've finished the pronunciation. Now, here's something interesting about Devanagari. The E sound is long in its own right, apparently, and it does not have a long or short equivalent. But it seems like the I diphthong is treated as if it were the long form of E. It's written with two flags on top of the baseline on top of the main consonant, whereas E has one. A similar thing with O. You have this, the IPA symbol indicates it as being long in its own right, and it doesn't have a true phonetically long short equivalent, but the diphthong ow is treated as if it were the long form of o here. Yeah, that is interesting. It's written with two flags on an offset line behind the main consonant. So ow is compared to 1 for O. So we have ow treated as a long O and I treated as a long A. Yeah. Right. Interesting enough, in older forms of Japanese, that's pre-modern Japanese as it currently exists, there was a diphthong. There was a series of vowels. You had the a, u. You had an a and then an u. So a lot of the times whenever you see that series appears in modern Japanese, it was basically contracted to just a long o sound. There are some exceptions, like the verb ao, meaning meat, is not o, and cow, meaning buy, isn't ko. It's interesting how the Devanagari writing system treats ao as long o, and in the history of Japanese evolution, ao actually became a long o. I think in some informal context in Japanese, I can also be said as a long e, like in which is somewhat reminiscent of how the Devanagari writing system treats I as if it were a long e. Yeah. And also in ancient Greek, the I diphthong became e, the same sound as epsilon, so not long. And there's also this dot, which is for, or this to add the nasal, the final sound. Apparently, these two, I haven't seen them in my book so far. These two dots to the right indicate an, what is it called? A h sound, vowel sound. This thing, written as an with what is it called? Charon, or an with a charon, it makes an sound. And it's with consonants, it's written as a charon above the consonant. And there's also this sound, open back rounded. Find an English video. Thought. That's all for this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Dark Blade out.